Hey everybody, this is Joe Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the Sports Wrap, and welcome back to my good, close, personal friend, thank you, Mean Gene, Steve Carney from Tampa Bay, Florida, who hasn't shaved in a year since I've seen him. How are you?
Yeah, I'm quite bearded. And right now it's at a point where like I know that if I were to shave it, it would just look awful. And so like I'm trying to get it to the point where I can make it not look awful anymore.
All right, so before we begin, it was your birthday a couple days ago.
It was.
So and you know, you usually pay me for this, but I have to come out of this and sing you happy birthday.
Oh,
so
Lord.
I'm going to say, get your wife, Emily, beautiful wife, Emily, to listen to this and all that. Happy birthday to you. How does it feel to be almost 50 years old? And did you vote for your current president of the United States of Canada?
Well, first things first. The last time that I was sung to by a bigger boob, it was Marilyn Monroe.
Wow. Actually, my boobs have gone down. I'm a slim, trim 480 pounds now. Come on.
And let's see. I can't vote for the president of the United States of Canada. I think you know that. So.
But do you want to be my Secretary of State for the province of Florida?
Joe, you know I stay away.
He wants to make us the 51st state. But by the way, somebody should tell Mr. Orange we got 10 provinces and 2 territories. That means 63. Okay,
and a bunch of islands.
Yeah, but islands are good.
You got Newfoundland. You know they got fish and lobster there.
Yellowknife. Have you ever seen a knife who's yellow?
I would probably try and stay away from Yellowknife. I try not to go that far north. I mean, you think about it. You know, I don't think I would want to go as far north as you are right now. Never mind go to Yellowknife.
Oh, come on. All right. Let's, this is the first year that we're talking that in the second round, Tampa Bay Lightning. How's that? I can't believe you losing 5 to Florida.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. This is now 3 straight years that the Lightning have lost in the first round after going to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup finals and winning 2 of them. So I think you can say that this has still been a very successful window for the Lightning. I mean, they've gone to the playoffs now 11 times in the last 12 years. They've been to 4 cup finals and then 2 other conference finals in that stretch. So, so for of the 12 years that this window has gone on, they have been one of the final 4 teams in the National Hockey League in half of that time. So that's pretty darn good if you ask me. And I think that if you were almost any team in the NHL, I certainly know that there are 2 in the province of Canada alone that would say, oh my God, I would love to have won 2 cups, had gone to 2 other cup finals and 2 other conference finals in the last 12 years. In fact, I think both of them would do that. And as would the team in Quebec, as would the team in Manitoba, as would both teams in Alberta and the team in British Columbia as well.
Well, talk about the other side of the state, Florida, playing some team called Toronto. Who are you picking in this one?
I think really it's going to come down to can Bobrovsky do what he did in the first round? I'm not quite sure who comes out of this. I think that either way you look at it, the team that's if Florida comes out of this, they will have had easily the most difficult road of any team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, having to play Tampa Bay and Toronto just to face Washington most likely in the conference final to get to the Stanley Cup final. So I think that's a really tough road. Toronto's road's a little easier. Having clinched the number 2 seed, they got obviously Ottawa in the first round, and then they were able to have a little easier of a road. So I really do think it's going to be very difficult for Florida to do so, but I think they have what it takes in order to do it.
All right, so we won't talk about the others. Let's go. Since you're a Major League Baseball executive, yeah. Well, I thought you were. Anyways,
trust me, if I was a Major League Baseball executive,
you wouldn't be doing this show. Put it that way.
First thing I would do is ban you for life.
What?
That's
Steve,
right.
we haven't talked in a year, and you're already banning me for life.
Ban you for life.
All right, I'll take banning for life, but I gotta live in Florida, and you're in your home.
Ooh. That's I don't know if we could do that.
All right, so let's go. Florida State League and all that. How is the improvements? Because you were on top of this with the pitch clock, with game being faster and all that. How is it going in Florida State League? And talk about the Blue Jays' no offense.
Yeah, it's weird to think that a team that is talked about having so much power, and really, you think about it, Bo Bichette over the last few years has been one of the best hitters in the league. Vlad Guerrero Jr., obviously one of the best power hitters in the league. The fact that they are having so much trouble scoring runs is really, it's kind of head scratching. You wonder, how long is the leash that John Schneider has? I was not in the same category as a lot of people when the Blue Jays fired Charlie Montoyo, mostly because of the relationship that I had with Charlie for a number of years when he was here in Tampa Bay the first time. Obviously, Charlie is now back with the Rays organization in a different role in the front office, but I was kind of surprised when they did fire Charlie, mostly because of how, his reputation was that he worked well with young players. And, Schneider, you think about it, John Schneider really hasn't had any of the success that Charlie had when he was the manager. I think that you can say that, I think that with the way things have gone, the question is going to be, how long is the leash? When does the rope get cut, and when does Schneider get set adrift, and does that make the Blue Jays adrift?
So what about $600 million to Vlad?
I think that that's a Shapiro question. That's a question for the front office. I think that I don't know how you can pin that on John Schneider. That's got to be pinned on the front office, if you ask me.
Well, do you think who's worth $600 million? That's 750 million Canadian, whatever. I'm not.
Well, I mean, obviously, Ohtani is.
Yes,
because he got
about Soto.
Well, we'll find out about Soto. I think that Ohtani is worth it if you feel that he's going to come back and pitch at some point. I don't know if he's going to pitch. The way that things have gone with the Dodgers this year. I mean, you look at all the injuries that they've dealt with. Blake Snell with the shoulder, and Glasnow is hurt again, and which is part of the reason why the Rays didn't want to sign him long term. Glasnow is because he's always had these things come up that cause him to lose a bunch of time. So will Ohtani come back and pitch again at some point is the question. If he does, I think that certainly he'll earn his money with the Dodgers. As for Juan Soto, he's not going to pitch. You also know that he is a lot younger, and you're going to have more years of his prime if you're the Mets than the Dodgers will with Ohtani. So I think that really, I know what Scott Boras is looking to do, trying to get these huge numbers for some of his guys, and it gives everybody else around the league a target to shoot at. Although I don't think any of them have the sort of talent that a guy like Ohtani and a guy like Juan Soto have. Not even Vlad.
All right, so now you're based out of Tampa. Unfortunately we have to talk about that. Your hiding place when there's a hurricane and all that was Tropicana Field. Now there's no roof on it. Now who knows what are they going to be in Tampa? Are they going to play in Orlando? Are they going to play in Nashville? Are they going to play in Oakland? Are they going to? What's the story? What's the latest?
The latest is that the government here in St. Petersburg has approved the funds to put the roof back on the ballpark. They have said that it will be ready for the start of the 2026 season. But right now, out of the $56 million that it's going to cost to fix the ballpark, right now only 22 million of it has been approved, and that's just to get the roof on. So I don't know. I have not heard any sort of additional funds being issued. And as the longer we go, the closer it's going to get to opening day of 2026, and we'll see what happens.
Unbelievable there. Okay, so I'm going to switch it to the NFL, right? Your favorite quarterback. You were telling me during the offseason, you got to watch out for Deion Sanders' kid. You got to watch out for if he's not a first round pick, or if he's not a first pick, he'd definitely be a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. And then I stopped you. I said, yeah, he'll definitely be a fifth round pick, not a 1, 2, 3. He'll definitely be a fifth round pick to the Cleveland Browns. Steve, in all of your years of watching the draft and even maybe doing the draft some years and everything like that, have you seen a greater, to be quite honest, he's not a fifth round pick. He's higher than a fifth round pick. But what is going on? And Cleveland has a quarterback room that fills an all-star team, and they don't have anybody else except Myles Garrett, who wanted to leave there, has re-signed. They're like, Cleveland. The best thing out of Cleveland is The Miz and Johnny Gargano. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, you do realize that the Browns now have 5 quarterbacks on their roster. Because you still have Deshaun Watson there. You've got Kenny Pickett. You've got Dylan Gabriel. You've got Shedeur Sanders now. And there's one more that I
Joe
can't
Flacco.
even. That's right. Joe Flacco is there too. So those are your 5 quarterbacks now in Cleveland. And, the old saying was that if you had 2 quarterbacks, you don't have 1 quarterback. Well, the Browns have 5 quarterbacks. What does that say about their quarterback room?
Means Tampa Bay's roof's going to come down, all right? So that's it. But honestly, if I asked you, I don't know when is it, September 6th, 7th, the start of the season, who's your number 1 quarterback?
My number 1 quarterback is Baker Mayfield.
No, in Cleveland, I'm saying.
Oh, in Cleveland.
He was in Cleveland. You almost stumped me there.
I know. When you're looking at the Browns quarterback room, it's really weird. I think Shedeur Sanders could be the starting quarterback on day one. I think it really depends on how he takes to the playbook there, and really, that 2 guys understand what the playbook is. Deshaun Watson understands the playbook. Joe Flacco will understand the playbook. Kenny Pickett has worked in a playbook very similarly. And the fact that Pickett was in Pittsburgh will certainly give him, a little bit of a, hey, I've got an advantage here. I can tell you what sort of formations you can see from the Steelers offense, even with, whoever is going to be quarterbacking there, and whether it's Aaron Rodgers or whether it's the kid that they picked in the draft or whoever, we know it's not going to be Justin Fields, and we know it's not going to be Jameis Winston. So, or Russell Wilson, excuse me. I think that you're looking at, I think Dylan Gabriel is probably the guy that's most likely the outside looking in. And then, from those four, you've given all this money to Deshaun Watson, though you've now renegotiated his contract. So we'll see what that leads. Flacco is basically an expiring contract. Kenny Pickett is basically the same thing. So, do you start one of those guys for the first couple of games until Sanders gets his feet wet, or do you throw him right in the deep end and say, let's see what you got, kid, and see if you can swim? I think if you go the second route, you very, very, very risk, if you're the head coach, getting yourself fired and getting Deion hired there in Cleveland. Because all you'll see is Cleveland Browns fans going, well, he was really good with his father in Colorado and at Jackson State. Why'd you just fire, was it Kevin Stefanski?
Yes.
And fire him and bring in Deion, and we'll go from there.
May 14th comes out the NFL schedule, but I got a little bit birdie. I'm very close to the team in Buffalo, right? Very close, looking to get season seats for the new Highmark Stadium and everything like that. So a little birdie told me that on Christmas night, since I'm Jewish and Christmas, Buffalo Bills are going to be playing. Have you heard anything of something like that regarding Christmas on Netflix?
Nope. I have not heard anything about any sort of schedule. I am in the dark when it comes to anything, when it comes to the league, the NFL front office.
Are you trying to be, you're already a Major League Baseball executive. Are you trying to be an NFL executive?
Yeah. Let me tell you, if I was an NFL executive, what the first thing I would do is ban you for life, Joe.
All right. So let's get, we touched on everything. Now we got to touch. I know you're going to say you haven't watched it and all that, but I know you're the biggest fan. You have the jorts like him. You have the armbands like him and all that, and you can't see him. John Cena, the 17-time champion, facing Randy Orton this week at Backlash in St. Louis. Randy Orton, if he wins, number 15. Does he?
No. That's an easy answer. Not only is John, do I have the jorts and the armbands, and obviously, I like to wear my t-shirts extra schmedium like he does. We also share the same bald spot as well.
I knew you were going to say that. I was going to tell you, can you rank his hair with your hair? Since we never see your hair ever, you're always wearing hats. I got to get you fired up network hats.
There's a reason why I'm always wearing the hat, and a reason why he's usually wearing the hat, because when he comes out and he wrestles, and his comb over is almost as bad as Sting's. Let's just put it that way.
WrestleMania 41 just passed. 41 years of WrestleMania. And I know you watched it. Don't tell me you didn't watch it.
Right? I watched. I had to watch it on delay because I had a game on Saturday night, so I ended up watching it on delay.
So it was 2 nights. What would you rate WrestleMania?
It was okay. Night 1 was better than night 2. I thought night 1 was really, really good. I mean, for me, the Joe Hendry appearance on night 2 was the best part of night 2. So, I would say, I think it gets a B-. I think overall it gets a B-. I think night 1 gets a B+, and I think night 2 gets a C+.
C+. All right. So you talk about Joe Hendry, WWE, TNA, and you got Trick whipping that Trick and all that, NXT with TNA now and all that. But yet, on Friday, they cut how many wrestlers? 18, 19 wrestlers and all that. Braun Strowman, Indy Hartwell already signed with TNA. Chauncey Blackheart is the next one who was released and all that. What name surprised you the most?
Well, I mean, for me, it's Cora Jade. Cora Jade was getting ready to be pushed to the moon before she tore up her knee the first time. Yeah. And she's kind of like, I always think of I want to keep calling her Nixon Newell.
Tegan Knox.
Yes, Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox is and Dakota Kai is the same way.
Yeah.
When you can't stay healthy, I think that you leave yourself out there to be let go. Now there are some guys that was I surprised to see that Braun Strowman was let go? No. Was I surprised to see Shayna Baszler was let go? No. Was I surprised to see that Shinsuke Nakamura's contract was not renewed? No. I think that for me, the one that stands out to me is Cora Jade.
All right. So now continuing with wrestling for just a second here. Has the AEW lost their momentum? Before, last year when I talked to you, everybody was talking about Daniel Bryan coming in, and you can't wait to Kenny Omega and all that. And they lose. Well, he lost in AEW, and everybody doesn't talk about this. I know you want to talk about that. It's Rusev. The AEW could not continue without Rusev and Aleister Black, and now they're like, what is this, ping pong here? They're playing ping pong and all that. Everybody says it's good for wrestling. We have more wrestling, more.
Yes, it is.
But Tony Khan, put it that way, your good friend Tony Khan, who you try to get in his pocket all the time. He is, I don't know. He puts these guys, and they're on the shelf. They're not being used or whatever. Of course, they want to go like Rusev. How many times he showed up in AEW? 4 times. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, you think that he probably is very happy with the contract that he signed with AEW because it allowed him to get healthy and go back to WWE. I really look at it this way. When it comes to what's going on with AEW, I had to think really, really long and hard. Who's the AEW champion right now? Now it's Moxley. So, I think that Moxley's run this time around as champion kind of got sidetracked a little bit with the injury to Adam Copeland or Cope or whatever the hell you want to call him now. Maybe he'll go back to Edge now that the trademark battle with WWE is over. Maybe he goes back to Edge at some point. But I think that really screwed some things up, with Copeland's injury. It screwed up the world title picture because I had a feeling that we were going to see that at some point. It screwed up the whole thing with the whatever they call the Christian Cage family.
Yeah, the patriarchy.
Nonsense, the patriarchy. That's right. With Mother Wayne and with Kill Switch and with Nick Wayne, it kind of took the air out of that as well. And really, all of the secondary championships have all, nothing. The title picture in AEW needs to get fixed. Right now, there's only one title that matters, and it's the women's title of all of them. And it's because of the whole Toni Storm thing with Mariah May that just finished up. And now whatever they're going to do next with that, that was brilliant. That whole thing with Toni Storm and Mariah May was done perfectly. And now we got to figure out, this big broad that they've brought in. I think it's going to be fun.
Well, yeah, and we talk about Tony Khan not knowing what he's doing. My girlfriend, Britt Baker, has been sitting doing my teeth all the time. Like, what the hell's going on? Thank God she's a dentist. Like, and by the way, for those people who don't know, I am better looking than Adam Cole, baby. All right? So that's number one. But you don't use Britt Baker after she was champion but you got to admit this. The best part in AEW is Toni Storm. She's timeless.
She is timeless, and she has created something so fun. I know that Jerry Lawler used to say all the time that funny doesn't bring money. Well, whatever Tony Storm does, everybody just seems to gravitate towards. Whether when she was the punker chick, and then the timeless, then going back to the punk chick, and then going back to, and then saying, "Oh, see, I was playing a role. I'm timeless." Tony Storm is a lot of fun, and I think and I go back all the way to when she was, I forget if she was in NXT UK or in just regular NXT, and she worked the Stardom Halloween show in Japan, and when it comes to Stardom, Joshi Pro Wrestling in Japan is totally different than women's wrestling in the United States. There's a lot more character, and it's more, it's not as athletic and it's not as physical normally, Joshi, and especially Stardom. They are more about the character as opposed to the athleticism, though there are plenty of women both in Stardom and in Marigold and in Tokyo Joshi that are very, very talented and very athletic. But they, at this time, especially for the Halloween episode, everybody dresses up in costumes. They have this and the other. And all of a sudden, they started playing Minoru Suzuki's music. And out walked Tony Storm, dressed like Minoru Suzuki with the towel over her head. So you never see her face. But they announce that it's her. And you can tell that it's her. And she comes in to Minoru Suzuki's music, does all of his moves, with trying to get the fans to cheer. They did the Kazi Ninare thing when she walked into the ring, and then she grabbed one of the girls, had a big big stuffed teddy bear, and gave it a Gotch style pile driver in the middle of the ring, which was a lot of fun. That's how far back I go with Tony Storm.
All right. We'll conclude with one question, and then I'll let you go. It's been great to have Steve with us. Belated happy birthday. I don't know where Norm is. He's probably eating like crazy. His birthday.
It's in the washroom. We're talking wrestling.
Yeah, well, whatever. But we're also talking MMA. This Saturday is a big UFC event coming to Montreal. All right. And they haven't been in Montreal all the time. I hear GSP may get involved somehow or whatever. But there's WWE, well, TKO as the branch, WWE, UFC, now professional bull riding. He actually asked me to ask Steve if he wants to go on the bull, right? And I said he's full of it. But anyway.
I want to see how they put the saddle on you, Joe.
Sorry?
How are they going to put the saddle on you, Joe?
Listen, I'm a slim, trim 280 now. Doing the show, I lost 20 and 200 pounds, all right? So,
Playboy Buddy Rose himself.
Never mind. All right, let's talk about the UFC in Montreal or whatever. Has the UFC lost the luster here?
Yeah, I think it has. I think MMA as a whole has certainly taken a really big step back. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I watched a UFC event. Never mind one of the pay-per-view events, but like even anything that's on, cable or whether it's on ESPN or wherever they might have it. I can't tell you the last time I watched a UFC event. That's how long it's been. I've watched multiple boxing events in the time that since I've last watched a UFC event.
All right, and the main event in Montreal is not the greatest main event, but it's Montreal. I'm the president of province of Canada, so I have to talk about that. All right, Steve, is there anything else that you want to add that we haven't talked about?
Well, seeing as Norm is stuck in the washroom, I guess I'm just going to have to eat his the cake that I was going to give him. So sorry about that, Norm.
You were going to give him cake, and you still never brought me a birthday present.
I got you
the same month.
I got you the same birthday gift I got you last year, Joe. Come on.
No, we talked about this, Steve. I wanted a lady coming out of the cake, and you sending me like almost COVID, like mask and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Oh, Joey, I got you this because it's cold in Toronto. Come on.
The problem is that getting Asia Kong to come out of a cake is is
Asia
ridiculous.
Kong, eh? I'll take Mercedes Monet. She's me. All right. Steve, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you, and let's not make it a year till we do it again.
Oh, it might end up being a year as long as the way my schedule is going. I am at Steve Carney on all the different social media platforms. You'll find me here, there, and everywhere.
All right. And Norm just sends me. He says he's just flushing the toilet. He'll be here in 10 minutes. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Just in time for T. Murray.